Being a business and insight, most entrepreneurs start with a plan, preparing for their path to success. Along this journey, owners find themselves learning new skills, hiring new talent, and working diligently to stay on course. There are 3 paths a business can travel. One path leads to a bridge that is out. On this path, the business fails, which often leads to the loss of personal savings, credit, and relationships. 50% of businesses end up here within the first 5 years. Another is the path to nowhere. It creates just a long-hour, low-paying job. 90% of those who survive into year 6 find themselves on this path. This path makes the business difficult to sell when it's time to exit, because new buyers typically aren't interested in buying long-hour, low-paying jobs. The last path is the success path. On this path, the business generates excellent cash flow and works toward great exit reward. The success assessment provides accurate and up-to-date reports of the business's bankability, lender compliance completion, pre-qualification for funding, SEO rankings, local search placements, customer reviews, star ratings, and much more. It identifies issues known to pull businesses off the success path and offers instructions and recommendations to getting your business on the success path and staying there. Which path are you on now, and which path do you want to be on?
What's going on, Chad, everybody. Welcome to Business Funding and Whiskey. Chad, how are you today, man? What? So, guys, tonight we're gonna have Chad Reynolds, and we're gonna talk about Chad. Chad is a friend of ours from a while. I mean, I've been working with him. I've been seeing his growth. And everything that he's been doing right now, and how he's been helping people. But I'm gonna let that. I'm gonna let the simmer because I want him to talk to you. Now, this is one of my fellow Marines. For all my veteran community, again, every time that I talk to a Marine, I get hyped up because we go back, we start sharing stories, and I love it. It's been my background for 22 years. What I've been doing in the military and how we help in the community today. But we got Chad Reynolds, and also we got Brock Bertolo, which is my second hand over here in Strata Vega Capital. But guys, let me introduce you to Chad Reynolds. Chad Reynolds is a prior Marine, but he's also an engineer. And I want him to tell you what he's doing today, specifically helping the community, but also helping those engineers, helping those people that actually help others, that still don't have the mindset. And I met so many people that actually help the community, help other investors, help other entrepreneurs, but they never found that vision to help themselves and actually become entrepreneurs themselves. Am I correct, Chad?
Yes. Most of the things that I do is to help not only improve my situation, but help other engineers and technicians gain the skills and knowledge of an entrepreneur and either apply them to their current career, which is perfectly fine, or realize, hey, with my technical abilities and my entrepreneurial skills, my marketing skills, I'm perfectly capable of going out and starting my own business on the things I really care about and not be tied to a corporation or somebody else's goals in their business. So that's really my focus in my business, is as I get better as an engineer in my career inside a corporation, I want to share the things that I learned there. And then as I build my business entrepreneurially, I want to go ahead and share those skills and knowledge with other engineers and technicians so that they're put in a position that they can gain financial independence quickly and then be able to go and do the projects that they're passionate about, that they love, and that really makes them happy in their life.
And again, that's one of those things in which we always talk about. You always want to find a mentor that's been there, that now is walking the path, and it can walk you to hold your hand and take you to point A to point B, and tell you to the steps you need to take in order to avoid mistakes. Now, but let's start from the beginning, man. I know you've been. What was your profession? I mean, what do you do in the Marine Corps? But at the same time, how and why did you become an engineer?
Oh, that's a good question. I didn't know how far into the depths of my silliness you wanted to go, but so my father died when I was 6 and left my mom with 3 boys, and we ended up on welfare. So she made a point to me that it was her job to make sure I had food and clothes, and it was my job to get an education. She said, you go to school, you get a good education so that you'll be set up in the future. So I took that seriously. I did really well in high school, and one of the last things they ask you to do is pick a vocation. So they put me in front of a computer and said, go through these questions, and once you get done answering these questions, it'll give you some suggestions on where you want to go. So after I got done, engineer was at the top. It paid the most, so I said I'm going to go be an engineer. So that's how I picked engineering.
So engineer was chosen for you. You didn't choose to become an engineer, right?
I'm very good technically, math and science. I had no problems with, and the pay seemed to be the largest of the options that were presented to me. So that's the direction I went. So.
Amazing.
There you go.
So where in the country are you at now, and who you work with right now? I mean, I know that we're talking about an engineering background, and I know that you work with a lot of investors, a lot of entrepreneurs, but who do you focus on? Who's your perfect avatar? So today, if we have some of our audience listening, and they saying that I find myself in the situation, who is a perfect person or that can work with you today?
Yeah, so it would be me 20 years ago, right?
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about that.
I'm out of your technical training, which is where I started as an electronics tech. I went and got my Associates of Science degree and started as a technician.
Wow.
So I did that for a number of years. And then I kind of got bored and said, I want to go back and finish my degree. So I went and finished my engineering degree. But if in both of those cases, I was always searching for how do I do this better, smarter, faster. So the people that I look to work with are those people that are just either starting in their career or a couple steps into their career, and they're asking the questions, how do I make sure that I'm taking advantage of all of the advancements that are available to me? How do I make sure I'm positioning myself so that when opportunities are presented, I'm on that list? And how do I make sure I'm demonstrating the right values and skill set so that when leaders are looking for somebody to take a challenge, that I can step up and be ready for them. And the way I learned that was by beating my head against the wall and doing it wrong a bunch of times. And then finally figuring out, hey, I need to read some books, maybe take some personal development and business acumen courses, talk to some people that were where I want to be, and really get them to give me some honest feedback on, when people think of Chad, what do they say, right? And understanding that helped me kind of rearrange how I approached my career, and how I approached the people in my career. So,
wow. Okay. Now, what do you think? What I mean, and again, I see. So that gives the meaning of a school of hard knocks, right? Yeah, school of hard knocks. Now, and I found myself too in that same situation at the beginning of my career, especially in the military. I always wanted to do everything on my own. I said I'm going to learn it on my own, but not knowing that. I mean, if you go and you find a mentor, if you find someone that can help you, if you are open to be mentored, to be coached. And a lot of people have that mindset that I could do everything on my own. And sometimes I believe it's pride, especially in men. And we find, and I'll tell you why, and coming from veteran communities, a lot of the times we're so enclosed into what we do and who we are, but sometimes we don't want to see outside our shell. And sometimes we don't want to find that help or that mentorship that is required in order for us to move forward. Because, I mean, and this is something that I preach, and, and Brock and I, we talk to a lot of veterans, and we tell them, man, there's a life outside the military. Trust me. And for a while, I didn't think of anything else than the rest of my life, my retirement was going to be in the military after 30 something years.
Wow. And
I was wrong. I was completely wrong. That's not what I was meant for. That was not my path in life. My path was to help others, to mentor others in different ways, but at least gaining that background and that experience that now I can share with so many others. and allow them to see themselves, because sometimes we find ourselves, even from the military or in the civilian world, sometimes you got to make a change. And again, you are doing something essential that is required right now as a consultant and helping others, especially because we see ourselves right now in a recession. Recession is about to start happening. I mean, it's going to be a lot of people going to be losing their job, homes. What are they going to do? I mean, a lot of people are clueless to what the next step is. So what would you advise someone that is in your shoes, not in your shoes, in your shoes a couple years ago, right?
Right.
Okay, to start doing? Like, what are the first steps besides what you already spoke about that is investing in yourself?
Yeah. So I kind of hit on it when I was talking about why I picked my career.
Yeah.
In order for me to feel like I had control over my life, I had to get control of my financial situation, right?
Mm.
I can't feed myself, and if I can't keep clothes on my back, then everything else after that kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
Number one, learn how finances work. Learn to live on less than what you make. Have a plan, execute the plan. Have an investment strategy. Have an investment mentor, like you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Part of the way I learned that was I actually became a licensed financial services rep, a private broker, and I learned all about life insurance and mutual funds and stocks and bonds. I learned everything about that while I was in that business.
Wow.
And that helped me set a baseline for making sure that no matter what I did, I was never in more debt than I could cover in a couple weeks.
Got it.
I also learned the difference between good debt and bad debt, right? Consumer debt and debt on liabilities is not good debt. Good debt is when you're investing in something that's making a return for you, that's putting money back in your pocket or growing so that you can use it later. So you have to separate those two. But number
Hallelujah.
one, yeah.
Hallelujah. You're speaking our language.
Yeah. Yeah. So number one, get your financial house in order. Realize how much money you have. Make sure that you have 2 or 3 years set aside of money that if something really went bad, that you wouldn't feel like you had nothing to do, no place to go. And that gives you peace of mind so that you can make good decisions about how you're going to move forward in your life, right?
Yeah.
Also, what it did for me is I never let any of my bosses make me do anything that I thought wasn't right, because I was willing to walk away. So anytime they would, it never happened, because I think they realized it wasn't a good idea to tell me to do something that wasn't good. But
yeah, that's true.
Anytime there was a question, I would stop them and go, "Hey, let me explain to you why I think that's a bad idea." And if at any time they say, "Well, if you don't like it, you can leave," I said, "All right."
Yeah. So that confidence. So again, you gain confidence, and how you gain confidence in working in yourself, right? So a lot of people are so scared to leave work and to even be fired because they have nothing else going on for them.
Yeah,
and we all need to make sacrifices. Right? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I learned, the first thing I learned, and it wasn't really solid advice, but you always pay yourself first, right? And the number they gave me was 10%, but it should really be more like 30 or 40%, right?
Yeah.
So I always had a habit that anytime I got a paycheck, at least 10% went into my emergency fund. So I built that up. And then once I got that emergency fund built up, I started adding to other investments, the growth investments, long-term, short-term investments. So that was key to me being able to make good decisions and not get myself in a situation where I was stuck in a job that I didn't like because I couldn't pay my way out of it, right?
Yeah. And again, you know what? And you talk about emergency fund. So I have a different meaning to that, and same concept, but I put it to my go away fund, meaning that if I want to go away anywhere, I have it. But I don't use it. That money goes to reinvest and into an investment that gives me cash flow to the point that now I'm matching what I will put away from a passive cash flow investment.
There you go.
So no matter what, the investment is there and it's going to be there, but I'm still making the money now that I could take with me to go.
Bug out money. Love it. So Chad, I have a question for you, right? So as a business strategy consultant, you've helped businesses grow, develop, implement the correct strategies in their business to see continued growth, what would you say is one thing that you've learned that you feel like the masses should know, everybody out there should know?
One thing, man, that's a sticker.
Just one,
One
Chad.
thing. It's difficult for me to do this. I had to force myself to sit down and visualize as clearly as I possibly could exactly where I wanted to go. What it would look like, what it smelled like. Put yourself in that place and kind of internalize it and have that in front of you, because that helps you make good decisions. If somebody asks me to do something, I can bounce it against that vision and say, is what I'm being asked to do or the decision I'm making right now going to lead me closer to that vision or away from that vision? And so if I can make decisions that are continuously leading me towards that vision, then over time you're eventually going to get there. Now the pace is, might be different for everybody else, but always having that in front of you so that you can focus on the things that matter and that add value and move you towards where you want to be in life.
Love it.
So,
visualize and execute.
So think about this. So now you're like if we put, that's a great concept, and I go back to everything that I've done in the past. So shooting an azimuth, like a compass, every couple paces, or let's say 10 to 20 paces, you need to reshoot an azimuth, or every 100 paces. Like you say, for everybody will be completely different. Think about the strides that you need to take. Everybody leg strides are completely different. The distance between each other. So 100 paces for you, 100 meters for you will be completely different paces than you, me, or Brock. Also, the azimuth, it's just like when a rocket goes to the moon. They constantly, every couple seconds, they gotta be reshooting the azimuth, because if they don't, they go off by a minute. They're gonna end up by miles away from where we're supposed to go to. So same thing. This is what we need to do, like in business and as an entrepreneur, and everything that we do, even in life. We need to set our ground rules on where we are, on where we want to be, where we want to go, and always going back to them. Consistency is one of those things. I don't know if you ever read that book by Weldon Long. It's The Power of Consistency. Just the little things that we do every single day, like when you go to the gym. Just if you work out one day for 24 hours, next day you're gonna be sore, but you're not gonna see results. But if you go every day for a whole month and you work out for like 30 minutes, just the little things, you will see results. So that's the same concept, knowing where you want to go, defining your goals, defining your why, defining where you want to go, who you want to help, and who you want to impact in life, and who you're doing this for. It's a great azimuth that we can now, go against what we're doing in life and in business. So I just wanted to add that. So,
so I got to ask you, Chad. Oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What I found is it was very difficult for me to look far out. I always felt like I was committing to something forever. But then I realized what you just said is I'm starting down a path in a certain direction. That doesn't mean I can't change it later, right? It doesn't mean I can't go, hey, I thought I wanted a house in the woods on 5 acres, but I've changed my mind. I want the house on the water with a dock. You're not stuck. And I think that was my biggest challenge, was I felt like I was having to commit to something forever and not realizing that, hey, just having where you're trying to go in front of you, you can adjust as you go, right? Like you just said, you take 10 steps and go, hey, am I still going am I going the right direction? Do I want to adjust a little bit? And you move forward from there. So that was something that I had to overcome when I first started out, when setting goals and kind of defining my vision.
Goals are extremely important, right?
Yeah. And I think it's purpose too. Like the purpose that you want now, like you said, like we might end up where we want to go, or we might just change course. But you will be further than when you started.
Yes. Yeah. You're always moving forward. If you're always moving forward, then you're getting closer. You're going to have a better view from where you move forward to than where you were before.
All right, man. Go ahead, Brock.
So you see me itching to ask a question. Yeah. So Chad, on the path to helping multiple businesses with their growth, what's one of your best success stories?
It's me. I'm my biggest challenge.
Love it. Well, let's go into a little detail about that.
Well, so I have a rule that I don't tell somebody to do something that I haven't done myself. It's probably not a good rule for fast growth, but I want to know how something works and how to do it well before I kind of tell them. So when I see somebody having a challenge, I have to go, okay, do I know how to solve that myself? And if not, then I have to go back and learn it enough that I feel comfortable that, hey, I know how to apply this.
Correct.
I'm able to apply it successfully. Now I can go back and help this person do that. Now, if I have friends that have done something and I can go ask them, I learned to do that also. That took me a while. Hey, maybe Chad, you don't have to do everything yourself. Maybe you can find somebody you know that's actually done that and ask them what their experience is and share that. That's been very helpful.
Absolutely.
So I mean, that's a great point that you say. You want to learn it yourself. I mean, if you see the way our mind works, our brain works, and I was reading the other day, T. Harv Eker. He talks about that if you want to remember something, then just read it or listen to it, and that's it. You remember. But if you want to learn something, read it, listen, and teach it to others.
Yep. If
That's
you can
how you
teach it,
learn.
you understand it, right?
Correct. You understand that now you are able to become a coach and a mentor to others. And that's what people don't understand. Like sometimes when you listen to things and you don't put them in practice, you just want to wait because all of a sudden life gets in the way, kids gets in the way, work gets in the way, the traffic gets in the way, the whiskey gets in the way, and you forget what you just learned. So go ahead, Braga.
So I love this next question. We ask everybody who comes on this question here, and as a business owner, we encourage business owners to share like their most memorable mistake that they made in operating their business. What would yours be? And what did you learn from? That's important too.
Made and operating my business. So engineers solve problems, but they don't sell the solutions well. So any business in life, you're marketing, you're selling yourself, right? Yeah. I thought facts and data would sell stuff. It doesn't. So it took me a while to figure out, I'm giving people all of this information that when I got it, I said, hey, I got to do this because of that. But the data doesn't sway them, right? And that's when I started having to, like I said, I had to go start reading marketing books and communication books and what are the other ways to communicate with people to help them understand that what I'm bringing to them is beneficial to them. And it turns out that it has nothing to do with data. It has to do with them seeing what you're offering, helping them get where they want to go. Right? Yes.
How emotional, how you can sell someone, how can you speak their language? And that's one thing you say, communication, amazing. Because communication is learn how to sell someone, how to sell yourself, how to connect with people. Yeah. And that's sales. I mean, fortunately in this world, you're either a salesman or you work for a salesman.
You're either sold or you're being sold.
Yeah. Sell or be sold, right? Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, Chad, when it comes to sales, it's really about selling that human emotion, that human connection, and where they want to be, right? So, and that took me a while to understand as well, because I come from a sales background, and I remember my first sales job, and I'm out there doing exactly that, just spouting out features and benefits, and didn't realize that, hey, that's all well and good, but what people really want is the feeling or the solution and the feeling of what your product has to offer. So that's huge. And everybody in the world is in sales, right? So the dentist that does your teeth, he's in sales. He wouldn't have a job if he wasn't in sales, if he couldn't sell himself. So, anybody who doesn't think they're in sales, they absolutely are in one shape, form or another.
Correct. Yeah.
And that was the key to my success in my corporate career. When I finally understood that when I'm talking to my managers and the VPs, I need to speak in their language and talk to them about what is important to them and how the solutions I and my team were providing would help them get where they want to go.
Yeah.
And as soon as I pivoted away to that, I was able to get more things done faster. More of my projects were accepted. We were able to get funding to go get things done and get things in place that helped grow the corporation. So those same skills are applicable to a career inside a corporation or a business as they are outside in an entrepreneurial environment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's true. So Dr. John Maxwell talks about cognitive leadership, 360 leadership. Is how you lead up, across, and down. So same thing that you're saying. You need to speak the language. You need to be able, because leadership is not a positional. It's not you on top and I'm a leader. No. When you get on top, that's just a platform for you to start becoming a leader. And a lot of people think about that as I arrived, and that's the wrong thing to do because
all it pointed out to me is how much more I needed to learn.
Correct. How much? Because the funny thing is, like when you go up in a position, like even when I started this company, like Brock could tell you, there is so much to learn. And yeah, I mean, every single day is something new. But you know what? People don't care what you know until they know that you care. And that's something that we got to keep in mind too. It's like, how much I cannot teach something that I don't know. And it goes back to what you said earlier. I want to learn first before I teach others, which is great. And that's the way you should be, because you should be leading by example. And again, I like to speak in stories and little things. So have you ever seen the movie We Were Soldiers with what's his name?
Yeah, Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson. Here we
Mel
go.
Gibson.
As a colonel, he said, "I'll be the first one off onto the ground from the helicopter, and I'll be the last one to step off."
That's right.
Everybody respects him for that, because you know what? I'm willing to go there first. That means that I'm going to learn. I'm going to be able to actually put myself in danger first. But you know what? Everybody else be willing to follow you because they see you leading from the front.
Right.
It's like also Dr. John Maxwell. Again, we go back to leadership. I love to talk about leadership. Stop me, Brock, whenever you want.
No, I love these nuggets you're dropping, man. Keep dropping.
And Dr. John Maxwell says that if you're a leader and you are for a walk and nobody's following you, you just went for a walk.
Yeah.
You're not leading anyone. So you got to keep in mind, is if people are following you, so we got to be, situational awareness. We need to have a situational awareness on who we are, what we do, but also be open to get coached, not only from people that we look up, but people from the bottom. Because sometimes people that come into our team, they know more than us. And I'm willing to actually put myself in that situation to bring people that are smarter than me so they could teach me new things so we could move forward together. And that's as a leader and as an entrepreneur, and what you do as a coach and teaching others, that's one of the things that, I look up to a lot of the coaches, because they have that open-minded about teaching others, but also learning from others. So,
right. Coachability is one of those huge things that, unfortunately in the workforce, the more that you go up on that corporate ladder, the lower that coachability is. So, I mean, I think that's one of the most important things, whenever I'm looking to hire individuals or bring them on into a business, I'm always looking for coachability. That's way more important to me than any talent. It's, hey, can you take coaching? Are you willing to learn? Do you have the drive to learn? I think that's extremely important from any business standpoint. If you're looking to hire people, make sure that they're coachable.
Yeah. I just had that situation where I had an interview with a gentleman who was technically sound, but he wouldn't fit into the team well.
Right. It's a challenger versus a
champion impression we had, right?
Yeah. We don't want to hire champions. We only want to hire challengers, right?
Yeah.
So champions think they're the best thing in the world, no coachability whatsoever. And don't get me wrong, I've hired my fair share of champions before, and they're good to a point until they're not, right?
Yeah, they're not.
Challengers, you take I'm always going to bring it back to sales because that's my background, but hire a sales rep who may be green, maybe a rookie, maybe, doesn't really know all the tricks and the tips and what needs to be done on a regular basis in order to continue to execute sales. If he's coachable, I'd rather take that person who's not going to be good for the first month than take somebody who starts off the rip as a killer and then just slowly dies off, right? Because they won't take coaching. They think they're the best thing ever. And things change, right? The business plan, your business model, the way that you sell your products, your price points, everything's going to change. So super important coachability.
So moving forward, so Chad and I, Chad and I, we started into an inner circle of being affiliate marketers when I used to do a lot of marketing for another company.
Okay.
And it's crazy, I mean, how life takes you, because if you keep growing, you're not always going to stay in the same spot. Like we had a different mindset what we wanted to do and how everything went back. And I took the route of still investing into real estate. Then we developed this company, UK and Brock. Also, Chad, as he's doing now, he's becoming a coach. He became a coach. He's helping other engineers and entrepreneurs. And then we met again into credit. So, and it's crazy. I mean, and again, and that goes something that I think was yesterday. So I go through social media. And a lot of people do use social media for one reason, just to relax, right? To just blow our steam. I do it in a different way, but I scroll and I like to see what's going on, learning new things, learning trends in order to do marketing. And a lot of content that comes to it that I learned from too, that I could now repurpose to actually what I do. And something that I was listening, I think it was in TikTok from Bradley, the Bradley. So something that he says, like, relationships are more important than money. And he said, if I wouldn't know this back then, myself and Grant, because Grant is worth $6 billion. Don't get me wrong, Bradley has done tremendously good for himself. But if he wouldn't know the relationship was so much important than money back then, it would be in a different bracket right now. And he says it. Something that he said. And again, relationships right here. This is where we at. Always foster your relationship. You never know where they're going to take you. Always work on the people that are around you and bring value to others. That's something like, I think if I got to put some numbers, Brock, and everything that we do, I think it's like between 80 to 25% of everything that we do every single day is just value to others, free value.
Yeah.
The 15 to 20% is what we monetize. And again, we're a business, but we give out more value than what we actually make money from. Even this podcast right now, this is free. We just want to make sure that we work with other individuals that are bringing value to others, and we showcase them so you guys are able to see that it's possible and use and work with them. We're not monetizing anything. And I want you to work with Chad because he has some good nuggets, a good coaching that can help you. And I don't want the money from that. I want you to make sure you work with him if possible. And if he wants to work with you because you are a good fit, go for it. But I want to bring value. I want to bring that connection to many other people. But we started working together. So before we go to that question, what does credit means to you, and why is credit important to an entrepreneur or someone that's trying to go in business today, especially because there may be a recession, or there will be a recession very soon. You guys should go to my TikTok. Actually, I put a video. I'm not a video is gonna drop tomorrow morning. Sorry, TikTok and all of the social media in which I have a snippet of Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos talking about a recession and when it's going to happen. Yeah. So stay tuned for that one. Go ahead, Chad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I think my wife's coming home, so my dogs are barking. So if you hear that, I apologize. So just like I talked about having an emergency fund, so that I could walk away if somebody asked me to do something I didn't want to do. having credit and having your financial house in order so that you have access to funds when opportunities present themselves is huge.
Yes.
I'll give you an example. I had a small house in 2007, and I kind of mentioned to you I don't like spending more money than I need to. So
Yeah.
I was working 7 days a week, 14 hours a day, banking money. And when the housing market crashed, I was able to swoop in and buy a $400,000 house for $200,000, rent my other house
Nice.
out. And then over time, the $200,000 house I bought turned into a $900,000 house. I sold the other rental property and was able to make a huge move. And that changed my financial situation drastically. But if I had not had the credit set up and my finances in the right order, I would not have been able to take advantage of that opportunity. So here comes a recession. There's a good chance that something very similar is going to happen. Real estate, stock market are all going to go down. And the people that have the financial capability of coming in and purchasing those reduced cost assets will be able to benefit from them when you come out of the recession. So that's why having good credit and having your finances and access to capital positions you to take advantage of situations that otherwise would look down to most people. But I know that we talk to those same people that you were just mentioning, Carlos. They're positioning themselves to buy everything.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They
that's something that we've been doing. I mean, and we preach to everybody. It's like it's good to have credit when you don't need it, then need it and not have it. So the little things that you could keep doing, especially when it comes down to business credit, it is completely different than your personal credit, even though that you should take care of your personal credit. It's just consistency. And we go back to consistency, just little things that you can do, like accounts that you need to have, little things that you need to order for your business. Especially if you have a business, you should think about this. Why? Because you have the ability to gain and to get bigger amounts of credit or money at a cheaper price and for better terms than your personal credit. Something you got to think about is like in the personal credit, you can get some good amount of money depending on your credit. But as you start going at the utilization, meaning you using up to a certain amount, past 30% of what you have available, your credit start getting shocked. People, other entities will not want to lend you any money. But if you don't care about that, then you definitely eventually you won't be able to get any more lending, any more credit. And that's what happened to me. This is how this company was born. It's like learning about credit. I doing real estate investment. I started understanding my own personal credit, not knowing that there was a side of business credit. And I couldn't, even though that I had never gotten a late payment. All my loans for more than 10, 12 years were paid off, but I was overstanding myself almost to an 80% utilization. So now no bank wanted to lend me any money. And again, my credit was okay, like 720 something back then on that amount. But then I had a debt to income ratio of almost 145%. So knowing that and being in business, learning about that, this is when we calm down, and that's what we always preach. That's what we tell you. Start doing it today. Especially, you never know if you're in business today and you are expecting to have a business in the next couple of years, you better start working on your business credit.
I agree.
Otherwise, 1 out of 3 businesses in the United States go out of business because of the lack of capital, and that's what's going to happen to you. So I don't want to rain on your parade, but that reality is a reality. Statistics are the statistics. So all you need to do is start doing something for you. So either you do it with us or with anyone else, or you want to deep dive into every social media, into every YouTube video that is out there, into every Google search, do it. But do something today. Why? Because you are going to pay harshly, and you're going to be one of the statistics, just like what happened in 2000.
Well, those statistics are going to go up too, Carlos. I
Yeah.
mean, we're entering a time right now where, you know, things are going to get scarce. And if your business is not doing phenomenal right now, you should
Yeah.
be worried. More than likely that 20 something percent of businesses that fail within their first year, that's going to increase. There's no doubt about that. Right. And a big thing about having access to the capital when you need it, it's not just financial security, but as Chad said, it's the investment opportunities that come your way. If Chad hadn't had his credit in a good place, he wouldn't be able to buy those houses, right? That would have cost you what, Chad? That would have cost you about a cool $1 million, more than that.
Yeah, about right.
I mean, that's huge. And I speak to people all the time who tell me, "Hey, listen, I own a small business, and we're trying to keep it debt free, and we're trying to not owe more." And it's like, listen, there's a good debt out there. You can grab some debt, right, and use it when you need it, because I guarantee you're gonna need it. And those individuals that aren't building their business credit and they're not securing the funds when they need them, like securing them now to use whenever, those are the companies that probably won't be here, right? There's a reason that every big prolific company in the United States or in the world has debt. There's a reason that Exxon doesn't go out there and pay cash for a new oil rig out in the ocean, right? Yeah. No, they use debt. And there's a reason, right? So if these big guys are doing it, you know, that makes you think, well, you know, I own my own business. Maybe I should take on some debt so I can build my business credit and invest in opportunities when they come their way. Because like you said, Chad, it's going to happen. Those opportunities are coming. There's going to be plenty of millionaires made within the next couple of years. And there's going to be many more businesses that go bankrupt.
Yeah. I would also point out that the same vision thing that I talked about for your career would apply to your business, right? I want to be looking out 5 years in my business and go, where do I want to be in 5 years? And when I look at that picture, what kind of financial setup do I need to have in place, and start working on that now? Like you said, incrementally. I'm not going to go from where I'm at to there in one step, right? But I need to start putting the pieces in place to be able to do the things I want to do in that 3-year window and that 5-year window. So understanding, having that vision of your business and where it's going to be, and making sure you're putting all the pieces in place to get you there, just like you are for your life's vision. That's a huge deal, because now you're making steps towards it as quickly as you can, right? And you have a plan, and you're taking action on that plan as you move forward, so that when you get to it and you're ready to expand or grow or move into something else, it's not a panic situation where you're scrambling around and somebody might offer you financing, but the interest rate's more than what you want to pay, or the cost is more than what you want to pay, because you haven't established yourself as a good loan risk.
And that's something that we always talk about. So especially like when it comes to consumer law, it's good to have the power on your hand. Meaning that, let's just say, like, one of the things that kind of irked me is when you need to buy a vehicle, like the sales, approval type of, when you buy a vehicle, when you go in there, their goal is to make sure that you get out of their way vehicle, right? So if your credit's not that good, they're gonna run your credit to every possible company out there in order to get you qualified. You might went in there probably with a 720, get out of there with a 650, because and you didn't know, but you have a vehicle, but now your payments are so much higher than they would have been. So this is why you need to work, not only be deliberate on how to and when to do it, but also be able to create that relationship with your bank, credit unions. And in this case, if you have a business, make sure that you start working what's called corporate credit. So that you have the buying power. When you walk into a place and you say, I have this much amount of money and I could buy it right now without you having to actually go and try to find money for me, then things can happen. You can negotiate and get a lower price, get a better interest rate. And that's what we're talking about. Get the buying power, get the power in your hand for you to be able to negotiate and get better deals and get more than what you should have gotten because you were clueless about how credit works.
Yeah. So let me tell you an example of how I've used that.
Yeah.
Before I go, I've only bought 2 new cars in my life for myself. When I told you I don't like owing people money, I meant it.
Yeah, you meant it. Okay, got it. I think you were lying to me, man.
So because I kept my credit straight and my finances straight, I always went and got approved for a loan before I ever went to the car dealership.
There you go.
And then once I decided what car I wanted to do, I used that as a hammer to get them to give me a loan at lower interest rates or better situation than what the other loan would be. So instead of them telling me what they could give me, I was telling them what they had to beat if they wanted me to finance with them.
Nice.
So that was just something that I learned by experience, by watching other people. You show up, and first of all, I never tell them I'm paying cash, even though I could, because if I can get a 2% interest loan or a 3% interest loan or a 1% interest loan, why would I pay my cash when I can turn around and invest that money and get 8 or 9 or 10 or 12%, right? On a liability, which a vehicle is a liability. It's not an asset, right?
Yeah.
So of the 2 cars I bought, I was able to use that strategy to help get a better deal from the car company than I would have otherwise. So
nice.
Something to think about.
And that's how the wealthy think. So guys, pay attention. What's up, Brock? Go ahead, man.
Hey, no. I'm enjoying these nuggets dropped all night. So, I kind of want to get into the next part here, Chad. And for those out there who don't know, Chad's actually one of our clients. So, Chad, I kind of want to get you to talk a little bit about, what is Strata Vega Capital, how it's helped you grow your business and what it's done for you.
Sure. Yeah. So affiliate marketing is not a huge capital investment to start with. So it made sense for me to use the money I had to kind of get started.
Yeah.
And because I knew that I would be helping other people potentially in that business, I wanted to kind of come at it from the experience of how they would be dealing with it. So I didn't want to just use cash. So what I did is I used some of my own credit to start my business. I kind of worked through it that way to kind of see how it worked and where it went and what kind of operating capital I needed and what my advertising budget was going to be and what kind of support services I need to have in place. And as I started getting pieces in place and building up the assets that I needed in order to do that business, I said, okay, now I understand that. Now I want to be able to scale, and I don't want to tie it to my personal finances anymore. So at that point, I had met Carlos on a kind of a what we call an inner circle, but it's more like a bunch of people get together and try to come up with great ideas of how to make their life better, right?
Yeah.
A mastermind. That was the
mastermind. Here we go. Yeah, you're right.
And he mentioned that he did business credit. So I said, hey, let me take a look at that. And I looked at what the offer was, and I said, well, I can go spend 3 months, 4 months digging around myself, trying to figure out what all the pieces and parts I need to put in place to do this. Or I can pay a really small, what I considered a very small fee to get somebody who had the experience, had done it 100,000 times probably, and just get it over with, right? Just
pull the Band-Aid off.
Move on to something else.
Right? And that's all we preach. And you're right. A lot of people, like, if you're a business owner today, you want to focus on what you know.
Yeah.
Keep the main thing, right? Yeah. Isn't that what Grant Cardone says?
Yes.
Keep the main thing. You know how to do your business. Focus on your business, but find the people that can help you and actually expand and scale your business. In this case, your business credit. It could be us, could be anybody else. Now, we're the best one, by the way. But so no matter what, I mean, if you want to do it yourself, you could also do it yourself. But see, how much time are you gonna have to learn that new skill in order to become better?
Right. You can fix your roof yourself too. You can get up on your roof and take off some shingles, hammer them down, but
Go for it.
And I
Change
have done
the toilet while you out here. So
yes. So remember, I told you that's part of me maturing. I don't need to know everything and know how to do everything. I need to find people that can help me get things done quicker, faster, and let me stay focused on the things that really matter. So,
yes. And that's one of the main things, guys. When it comes out to business credit, and this is something that we help people, and we have been able to help Chad and his business. Focus on growing your business, and not only we can help you with that. There's things that you also need to learn when it comes out to business, marketing, sales, operations, and there's things that we could also help you with, especially in our software. So this is something that we've been able to help Chad with, but in the main thing was business credit. And Chad, so let me ask something. How long did it take you? And I know it took you a little bit longer than everybody else, but why was that?
because I negotiate like hell.
He's a negotiator. Again, you know, you always have that. You always have that with engineers. Why is that? You guys very analytical. You guys very.
I'm not afraid to be told no.
There we go. That's my man.
Right.
That's my
So.
man. That's awesome.
Yeah. So the first benefit of your program, Carlos, is that it gives you a clear checklist of all the things I needed to have in place before I should really even attempt to get business credit, right? Yeah. So there was a couple little things I needed to clean up before we applied. So I went ahead and made sure those things happened. And then when they came back with proposals, it was significantly more than what I needed. So I had to kind of think about, hey, how much of this do I want to have? How would I apply it? What would be my strategy to use the money? And then I also went to one of my friends and said, hey, is this a good deal? Would you consider this interest rate a good deal? Would you consider these fees right? And based upon that input, I came back and said, hey, I've talked to a couple friends who have their own businesses and they've done business loans. And based upon that, I'd like to ask you if we can adjust a couple of these numbers. And fortunately, they were able to meet the needs. I was pleasantly surprised. I fully expected, some pushback, and I was fine with that because, but like if you don't ask, nobody's ever going to tell you yes, right?
Right. Closed mouth doesn't get fed.
Yeah.
That's negotiation. That's sales. And again, go back to sales. Go back to sales. You were able to sell the salesman, and which is fine. I mean, that's the purpose. At the end of the day, ethically, business was done. You are happy. Yep. We all make money. We all help each other. Ethically, we're able to add value to each other, and that's the purpose of this, guys. We're trying to make sure that we created something that not only is able to help the small business owner, the person that's trying to start up, the person that's looking to scale their business, the person that don't know anything about business credit. Because let's be realistic, about 76% of people in America don't even know about the personal credit, but 94% of business owners don't even know about their business credit. Wow. Most of them, I mean, we work with a couple of our clients, our companies that make $12 million plus a year. And you'd be surprised how little they know about business credit. They've been a cash business for this almost like, right, Brock, about 5-6 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. You think if you're making, the kind of money that they're making, they would know about business credit, business capital, business funding, business, like that's nuts to me. But hey, I believe those numbers are just about spot on. I believe that 94% makes sense.
Yes. Now, I know that we talked about how to be a consultant, how you help businesses. So if anyone tonight that is looking to work with Chad, hey, I'm an engineer. I'm a person that's looking to get coaching to get to the next level as an entrepreneur. I'm afraid of what's going to happen with my job. I may lose my job, or I want to be able to add more value to myself. So like that could add more value to my employer. And if something get to happens, I'll be one of the ones that is kept, because people are going to be laid off. I got people right now that came in without sending him. So some of them got the hours cut short, and were given the option of either, okay, you either don't come to work, or we cut days off. So that's already happening. So if someone wants to work with you, Chad, how can they do that?
Sure. So I have a Facebook group that is set up exclusively for engineers and technicians, and it's called Engineer for Success, right? And I can. Is there a way I can forward that link to you, Carlos?
Yeah, we're gonna put the link down in the video in the comment.
And then I also have you can follow me on Instagram at Engineered for Success, and you can also follow me on TikTok at Engineered for Success. And once you're there, it'll take you to all the different places that I have content, all of the different things that we're working on and offering. And you can help me, tell me what you need, and I'll go find solutions for you, because that's really what I want to do is as I learn more about what adds value to the people in those groups, I start digging out things that I think would help them. And sometimes it's simple things that I didn't really think that anybody needed, but because I didn't realize it was of value. So yeah, that's the best place to get a hold of me. And then Chad at chadreynolds.net. If you want
Chad at chadreynolds.net. Got it.
If you wanted to hit me with an email and ask me any questions, and I'll be glad to help you in any way I possibly can.
So no matter what, we are going to take all of these links. Are going to be in the bottom of our video as we post it, and especially in this live. This live will live in YouTube and all the other social medias forever. Forever. So they'll live in the bottom of this video. But at the same time, just like he said, an engineer or person that is analytical, in this case, I love it. So Chad, the funny thing is, like, sometimes things, like for me, if I have something that I want to learn about, I don't want to research, honestly. I ask people to research. Sometimes I say, hey, bro, can you help me out? Can you research this? And people like me, there's people like Chad that love to actually find the solution, and they're good at that. That's the way their brain works. That's the way how they want to add value to you. And remember, you don't have to be a jack of all trades. You need to be great at one thing, and at one thing only. But find all the people that can help you become greater than what you are today. So like that, you can scale to the future and be able to develop that legacy that you all want to develop for yourself and your family. So, and that's one thing that a coach, and in this case, Chad, can help you with. If you want to work with him, as we said, you can find him at chad.net, right?
Chad at chadreynolds.net.
Chad Reynolds, don't forget his last name. Chad Reynolds.
You about messed up there, Carlos.
I better stop it, right? No, but guys, so we're going to put all this information in the bottom of this video at the same time, as we spoke about. If you want to have a free business success camp for your business. So the way that we develop our business was also, we have a software that helps your business to identify if your business meets all the compliance items today in order for you to get lending. So in our chat, and it's also going to be in the bottom of this video, you'll find that link directly for you to get a free access or free success can. And that's our gift to you. Again, guys, and I appreciate Chad. Thank you. Before we go, any last words?
I would just like to say thank you very much for allowing me to participate in this. It was an incredible opportunity. I greatly appreciate it.
Awesome.
I'd also like to say that anybody that's interested in business credit, I will promise you that you will not be pressured into anything by Carlos's team. They're going to give you the information. They're going to present to you what they can do for you, what the cost will be up front. There's nothing secret hidden in the background.
No.
You will be able to make an informed decision based upon your condition or situation, and you can determine whether you want to go for this. So there's no tricks, no hidden stuff. It's, hey, do I need business capital? Yes or no? And can they help me? Yes or no? And I promise you that if you need business credit, that they'll be able to help you. They know what they're doing, and they understand how to get you where you want to go.
Love
Thank
it.
you for those words, man. Thank you for those words. I appreciate it. You know, little by little, we gaining more and more clients and people that are having success. And Chad is one of those latest ones that we've been having, and it makes us feel good. I mean, yes, at the end of the day, we're a business for profit, but it's just adding value to all this that makes us feel so much better than just the money that we make. But guys, I appreciate your time today. Thank you for being here with us today. Thank you for tuning in. As we said, all this information gonna live in the web forever.
Forever.
And it's gonna be in all Chad's information. We're gonna put them in the bottom of this video. And again, reach out to him, man. He's an amazing guy. We only bring the quality people into this podcast and people that could bring value to you, because we want to help you too. As we see that he's doing good, we are working very well with a lot of people, but we want to make sure that you also gain value from everything that we do. Brock, you got anything else to say?
No, I just want to say, Chad, thank you so much for joining us. You know, it's always a pleasure to showcase small businesses and especially our clients. So, hey, Chad, thanks again. Carlos, awesome as always, man.
All right, guys. Chad, thank you for being here with us today. Everybody, I'll see you next week. Oh, as a matter of fact, no, we are going to start a new live tomorrow. We're going to be a Strata Vega live in which we're going to be tackling, things that are going on in the world right now. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the real estate market and how the recession is going to affect it and what you can do in order to help yourself. Ooh. So tomorrow, 12 o'clock, do not forget, make sure that you're there. Or be squared. I don't know.
Pulp Fiction style.
All right, guys. Have a good night.